This game recap is brought to you by Manscaped's Foot Duster Foot Deodorant. Say goodbye to stinky foot funk with this essential deodorant spray. Head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The Foot Duster Foot Deodorant by Manscaped. The best protection any place below the waist.
The Seattle Seahawks pulled off the upset, spoiled Russell Wilson's return to Seattle, 17-16 over the Denver Broncos last night on Monday Night Football. We saw a little bit of everything last night. We saw Russell Wilson enter the game with raining down boos. Seattle fans did not like. I was actually kind of taken back by all the boos that Russell Wilson got. But he got quite the welcome. And then Geno Smith, man, that first half from Geno was something, I don't want to say special because he didn't do much. Most of his passes that he threw were really short, maybe intermediate passes, except for the touchdown pass he had to Cody Parkinson. But he was great. He started off the game hot, 13 for 13 with his first few passes, and he looked like they made the right decision at the quarterback position. Aaron, instant takeaways from this game, from the Geno Smith side. We'll talk about the Broncos in a second, but from the Seahawks side and specifically Geno Smith.
First, I want to say the fans that booed Russell Wilson, you guys are idiots. And I'll say it. You know me. I'm not scared. They're idiots. The man brought the only Super Bowl title to their city, and they boo him. He was there for a long time. Just appreciate what he did and let the man move on with his career. I don't understand what the whole point of booing a professional athlete is. I never have, never will. Don't understand it. You'll never convince me otherwise. It's absolutely stupid to boo a professional athlete who decided to switch teams. I just think that's the dumbest thing. Sorry, I get really irritated at that.
No, I feel the same way about that because I have no problem booing people, but for someone who gave you so much of his career and you are booing, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't at all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I'm not a big booer anyways. I don't know what that does for boo. I don't get it, what it does to people, especially as an athlete. You just kind of look at it like, I'm getting booed. Okay. But even more so, like you said, the fact that what he's done for that city and that organization, how they were an irrelevant franchise for the most part, outside of 1 year with Hasselbeck and going to the Super Bowl and losing. Russell Wilson has been that franchise for a long time. So definitely disappointed in some of the Seattle fans because some of them were cheering. I did see that, but boos always overpower the cheers, and it did on Monday night. So that was disappointing. Geno Smith played good, man. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Everybody, like you mentioned, not going down the field. He didn't have to. If you're Geno Smith, your job is to not make mistakes and make good throws when you need to make good throws, make key timely throws, and put your team in a position to win. And he did that yesterday. So I was super impressed with Geno Smith. I love when he was, running for first downs, diving, all that good stuff. I thought Geno Smith played excellent, and it goes to show why he won that job.
He's a consummate professional. Exactly. And like you said, he didn't have to I think it was perfectly schemed. I think this game was perfectly schemed from a Seattle Seahawks side of things with what they did on defense, what they did on offense. They didn't make Geno Smith have to be something he was not. They stuck to the game plan. They did what they had to do with him, and won the game. I mean, you look at the carries for Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell had 12 carries. He had, not Elijah Mitchell, Rashad Penny, different different NFC West running back. He had 12 carries for 60 yards. He was efficient. It just seemed like this entire game plan was good for the Seattle Seahawks. On the Denver Broncos side, there were actually, hold on. I do want to play this SOT real quick from Geno Smith after the game. I don't care if the man can bring us down. I don't care. Take us down. I don't care. Geno Smith after the game had one of the best quotes. I think this is going to go down maybe as the quote of the year. I know it's early, but this could go down as quote of the year.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though. That's the problem. I ain't right back. Let's go.
All right. Congratulations, Geno. Joe.
They wrote me off, and I didn't write back.
That's a dude right there who's been through some shit and not willing to be kept down. Shout out to Geno Smith, and shout out to the Seahawks for making the right decision for their starting quarterback position.
At least for 1 week. At least for
1 week. Yeah,
let's make sure we clarify. That was a home game, home opener against Russell Wilson. Everybody's coming out in a different perspective week one. They made the right decision for at least 1 week, and Geno, you have the right to say that for at least one more week.
Yeah, I don't think
we're going to judge him again next week. We are.
Yeah.
No matter what we say, if he throws 4 picks next week, people are going to be like, well, when's Drew Lock's time? Like, people are going to do that. So
yeah, I don't think he did enough in this game to say, okay, Geno, you are safe. You're the guy. You're like, your leash just got a little longer because of what you did in this game. Nah, I don't think that by any means. 23 of 28, 2 touchdowns for Geno Smith, and a really good first half. On the Denver Broncos side of things, Russell Wilson's return was, I would say, almost fell flat. 29 of 42, 340 and a tutty. I didn't see a whole lot from Russell Wilson in turn, like his stat, like 340 yards and touchdowns. It's good statistics, but it just seemed like the Denver Broncos were not clicking on offense. The defense looked good, but it just didn't seem like the offense was clicking. It took about 10 passes for Russell Wilson to actually target a wide receiver. And then when he finally did target a wide receiver, it was Jerry Jeudy, and it went to the house. So that was a good sign, the good thing for the Denver Broncos. But let's talk about it, Aaron. The last play of the game, the Denver Broncos go for a 64-yard field goal on the leg of Brandon McManus. And, well, they didn't make it. They lose the game 17-16. And it just, I can't get over this. I read it on the headlines, the lower thirds of every show and our shows and everything. It's like the Denver Broncos failed to get a 64-yard field. Like, in what world did you think that a 64-yard field goal was the right move? Like, it just doesn't make sense. What are your thoughts on the call and the ending for the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, my question to everybody that is saying that would be, what number would have been okay? What number would have been okay? If that was a 57-yard field goal, would have been okay? If it was a 55-yarder, would it have been okay? If he would have made it, would we have been okay? That would be my question to everybody that's saying that, because I'm also on the side of what in the hell were they thinking? But I'm of the side, I don't care if that's a 25-yard field goal. With a minute left in the game, and Russell Wilson, who you paid $264 million for on 4th and 5, you decided to take the ball out of his hands. So what did you pay Russell Wilson for? It's the Aaron Rodgers down 8 argument. I don't have a problem with the people that are upset about it. I would have a problem if the people that are upset about it are only upset because he didn't make it, or only upset because it was 64 yards. I don't care. I wouldn't have kicked a 50-yarder in that situation. With a minute left, I am going for it. I'm putting the ball in Russell Wilson's hands, and I'm saying, go do what I paid you to do, which is get a first down. And despite what you say, Vinny, I thought Russell Wilson played great in this game. I thought he did exactly what Russell Wilson does. And early in the game, he found guys that were open like he's supposed to. They were focusing on the receivers early, the defense was. And then when they started to realize, well, Russell Wilson's going to throw to whoever's open, they started to change their defensive scheme on Seattle. And what did he do? They started getting more man coverage on the outside and started getting more zone coverage, and they would find those little holes. And then you started seeing Jerry Jeudy get open and Cortland Sutton get open. I thought Russell played great. They were in the red zone twice, had 2 turnovers in the red zone. If those converted into touchdowns, you have a 31-point game for the Denver Broncos. So this comes down to 2 things. One, I'll say it again, this is what happens when you have sloppy football play early in the season because you didn't play anybody in preseason. You did not play Russell Wilson. You didn't play any of your starters. Number 2, the only thing I was very disappointed in from the Denver Broncos is their running game. I'm sorry, but you cannot watch a football game and watch the way Javonte Williams runs and give him 7 carries. I do not understand it. Did you realize that Javonte Williams probably broke, I don't know how many, if the numbers are out there, he probably broke 8 to 10 tackles last night. Like, nobody could bring him down, and yet you give that man 7 carries. I get it. It was a ton of work out of the backfield. He had 11 catches, but a lot of that was in garbage time late, just trying to move the ball down the field. He cannot have 7 carries. Your team will continue to struggle if you are going to lean more heavily on Melvin Gordon than you are on Javonte Williams. And it's not a knock on Melvin Gordon. He ran pretty well. Javonte Williams is a game changer. And I keep saying that, but he is a different type of running back. He's the Ezekiel Elliott when he first came out. He runs like that. And if you're not going to give him the ball, then I don't know what more you want. Like Russell Wilson, I thought played okay. I thought he played exactly what he was supposed to do. That's what I expect from a Russell Wilson offense. They just didn't convert.
I didn't mean to say it was like Russell Wilson played bad or anything like that. I just wasn't wowed by Russell Wilson's return into Seattle. I was a little let down on that side of things, but I do think the Javonte Williams point is a really good thought here because, again, Melvin Gordon, no disrespect to Melvin Gordon, he's still a serviceable running back. He still can help you get the job done, but those carries need to be more in favor of Javonte Williams because of his game-changing ability. I mean, 7 carries for 43 yards. I mean, he was productive. He was efficient. And even in the passing game, he was efficient. 11 receptions, 65 yards. Like, he gets the job done. And I get it. In the red zone, goal to go, you give it to Melvin Gordon because maybe you think he's more reliable. But on this play here, I think Javonte gets you in here because of how the style of running back that he is and what we've seen from him early on. I think this fumble doesn't happen if you give the ball to Javonte Williams. I think they get into the end. It's not even just the fumble itself. Almost happened. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. But I think he gets into the end zone there and gets the Broncos into basically to win this game. I think they had 10 goal to go situations in that game, 0 touchdowns on them, and 2 lost fumbles in the game for the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm going to say this. I know I just went on the spiel about Javonte Williams, but I'm going to say this, and I know it's just week 1, but I feel more confident about my pick of saying the Denver Broncos are not going to make the playoffs. I made that as my preseason prediction, and I'm happy about it after seeing that game. I know it's week 1, but let me take everyone back here. And I know it's a long time ago, but there's a reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars fired Nathaniel Hackett. He was calling the plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I can't even begin to count how many times there were situations to the Jaguars that I said, okay, what the hell is this play calling? I don't get it. And I go back to the fumbles on the goal line. You give it to Melvin Gordon instead of Javonte Williams. That's one thing. But you went out and paid Russell Wilson. You've got these weapons in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Why are you not getting your big-time playmakers involved in your goal-to-go situations? You had 10 plays, and nothing to show for it except for 2 fumbles. That's bad play calling. And then the missed kick at the end of the game. Not so much the missed kick, but the play calling. Put the ball in Russell Wilson's hands and have him go out and make a play. I know it's week 1, and I don't want to be overreacting here, but I have that fear now in my mind that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers have an effect on Nathaniel Hackett here, and that it covered his not inconsistencies, insufficient. What's the word? What am I looking for here? What's the word?
I don't know. I know I know what you're trying to say, but I think this is about inexperience more so than anything. This is a head coaching job. A head coach that doesn't have the experience that is needed to make decisions. We could talk about play calling all we want, because play calling does matter. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. You got 10 plays inside the 5-yard line, inside the 10-yard line, whatever it is. Russell Wilson's got to find a way to the end zone. Javonte, Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, regardless of what that play is called, they got to find a way to get in the end zone there. They didn't. The coaching and experience I think he lacked was time management was poor throughout this game, not just at the end. The time management was not great. If you watch every single time, Russell Wilson's rushing the play clock down, what that caused? It caused a number of false starts. It caused a number of plays being blown up because play calls were not getting in on time. That's the inexperience that I saw from Nathaniel Hackett that he's going to have to improve on. I don't necessarily want to talk about just the play calling. I thought as a head coach, he looked very inexperienced, like he wasn't sure of what he's got to manage the whole team. He's got to call the plays. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. And that's what I was most concerned about because they had 12 penalties. 12 penalties is not going to get it done for 100 yards. And when you talk about a team, again, no preseason action, so you didn't get to work on any of this stuff in a real game. And that's a problem for me. And I said that I had a problem. We talked about it all preseason. I had a problem with that. I thought it would come back to haunt them. And once again, a team that was not supposed to win, Seattle was not supposed to win this game, went in and beat a team because they looked more prepared. And I think that strictly comes from what was done in the offseason and how they prepared themselves in the preseason. And Nathaniel Hackett looked very inexperienced.
I don't have an argument there. I agree. I think he did look inexperienced. And I'm not going to go out and say that he can't make the adjustments. He can't figure it out because, again, like you said, this is his first real shot at being a head coach. Maybe things could be a little different. But in my mind, from seeing what Nathaniel Hackett has been in the past, I have that fear of Green Bay. He has the Green Bay Packers effect and the Aaron Rodgers effect, and it made him look great. And now he gets to be on his own, and it's not like he reverts back to what he was in Jacksonville, and there was a reason why he got fired. And you brought up the penalties for the Denver Broncos. They actually led the league in week 1 penalty yards in the NFL. So it's not a good
12 penalties, 2 turnovers. They almost had 500 yards of offense. So the offense was working. It just didn't result in points. I'm probably not as discouraged as you are when it comes to what the Denver could do going forward. Like I said, I did like the way Russell Wilson played. He did what I expect him to do. They just have to capitalize and grow. Because I wasn't impressed by a lot of teams in the AFC that we thought was so powerful. Like outside the Bills, Chiefs, and Chargers, like who were we really impressed by? Cincinnati laid an egg. The Colts didn't play well. Like
Baltimore barely beat the Jets.
Baltimore wasn't at their best. So there was a lot of teams that were disappointing in week 1. So I'm not as down as far as like saying they can't make the playoffs. Or I just think they were not prepared coming into week 1.
I originally said the Denver Broncos were going to miss the playoffs, but that had nothing to do with like the production of the team. I did not have them having a losing record. I have them at 11. Remember, everybody, my record for a lot of the teams in the AFC were very good records, including the Denver Broncos at 11-6. That was my record prediction for them. And I had them missing the playoffs just because of, and after this week with what the Bengals did, maybe the Bengals are the team that misses the playoffs instead, because I do think the Denver Broncos looked much better than the Cincinnati Bengals. But 11-6 and had them missing the playoffs. Not a bad prediction for that. But like I said, I do feel a little bit better saying they missed the playoffs, because now I could see with this bad coaching from this game, not to say you can't fix it, but at the end of the season, it comes down to coaching. I'm going to take all those experienced coaches over Nathaniel Hackett and this Broncos team. So the Seattle Seahawks defeat the Denver Broncos 17-16. That does it for our Monday Night Football recap. That does it for all of our week 1 coverage. We'll be back again live at 10 a.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube for another episode of the Sack City Podcast. We're breaking down. Oh, wait, I have a player of the game. I'm so disrespectful. I am so disrespectful to this man. I forgot I have a player of the game for this Monday Night Football. I'm so sorry. Geno Smith gets my player of the game. The man came in and obviously not a phenomenal, flashy 350-yard game, but he came in and did the job. Shout out Geno Smith, and he is my player of the game.